Hello everybody, this is Bryant with Six Flags Fiesta Texas Source, and we're finally doing another info vlog. This is going to be our second info vlog. If you guys remember, about 4 months ago we did one. So I thought this was a great opportunity to do another one. We can kind of talk about the brand new roller coaster that Six Flags Fiesta Texas announced this past Thursday. Now, it was kind of interesting because they wanted to make a huge announcement inside the park in a press conference. However, all the news outlets and everything knew about the ride prior, so first thing in the morning, everybody already knew about the ride. However, I do think they did a really good job with their little press conference. I don't know if you guys watched it. If you go to the official Six Flags Fiesta Texas Facebook page, you can check out that video. They live streamed the press conference for the new ride, and it was really nice. Very simple, but very nice. Now, before we get into talking about the new ride, let's talk about Power Surge. So as you guys know, Power Surge closed a couple of weekends ago, and a lot of people were thinking like, what the heck, how are you going to close a water ride? This is one of the hottest parks in the Six Flags chain. You only have 3 water rides and you're closing it. What in the world are you thinking? This is also an original ride. What are you thinking? Alright guys, let's be real. Nobody rides that ride. And I know people, there are people that do ride it, but in the grand scheme of things, nobody rides that ride. There's never a line. It's kind of in bad shape, let's be honest. It's not the best looking ride. It's, you know, they're fun rides, but it was looking a little rough, you know what I'm saying? So they had to make a decision, and that decision was to get rid of that ride. Well, let's keep in mind, there are 2 other water attractions in the park still. They do have their log flume bugs, whitewater rapids. They also have the Gully Washer, which is their rapids ride. The other thing to keep in mind when we're talking about, oh my gosh, you got rid of one of your 3 water rides, keep in mind, the water park is attached to the main park. So if you really want to get wet, I think chances are you're going to go to the water park before you're going to wait in line for Power Surge. That's just my thing. I think that this wasn't really that crazy of a decision to make, to get rid of Power Surge. It was a long time coming, to be honest, and you know, it happened, so we have to move on. That park that's kind of where we are now. Things are really changing around that park, and we're just kind of along for the ride. Now that we know what the park is getting next year, we can kind of talk about it. I'm gonna look on my phone here. I'm gonna give you guys some statistics on this ride. So this is the world's first single rail roller coaster. What does single rail mean? Well, when you ride a roller coaster, say you ride Iron Rattler, you ride Superman Krypton Coaster, Poltergeist, you're actually on 2 rails. So the train sits on the track on 2 rails, and you go. That's kind of how a conventional roller coaster works. Now, what Rocky Mountain Construction is working on is the single rail, what they call Raptor roller coaster. Now, what this means is that the ride can be way more compact, and it can take up a way smaller footprint. There's opportunity for new types of elements and steeper curves, steeper drops, etc., etc. Now, this rail that this ride is going to run on is 15.5 inches wide. Now, I have my handy dandy ruler here. This is 15.5 inches from here to here. That's not a lot. So what does that mean? Well, that means that, put that down, that means that each train is going to only have a single rider in each row. So what that means is each train is going to be able to hold 8 riders. Now that brings us to kind of a crazy conundrum here that we'll get to here in a second, but I'm going to talk about more stats. A handy dandy phone. The lift hill is going to be 113 feet tall. You're going to come off the lift hill, go around a little bit of a turn, and that first drop is going to be 100 feet tall. Not a bad height for a compact roller coaster like that. Now, you're thinking, oh, 100-foot drop, no big deal. That 100-foot drop is going to be a straight up and down 90-degree angle. Not even the Iron Rattler is that steep. So it's going to be a very intense first drop, and you're also going to be the only person in your row, which I think is honestly going to freak a lot of people out, because a lot of people are like, I need somebody to sit next to. So I think it's going to add a kind of an element of uncertainty to this ride for a lot of people. Now, just looking at some other stats, 52 miles an hour is going to be the top speed. It's going to have 3 inversions. One of the inversions, let me see what RMC gives the exact name of this. So I finally found it. This inversion is called a 180-degree stall. Now, this is kind of an RMC, which is short for Rocky Mountain Construction. It's kind of one of their signature deals that they do. Basically, I'm going to throw a picture in of a 180-degree stall right here. Now, as you can see, you kind of go up a hill, and once you get to the top, you flip upside down. Now, if you've been on other roller coasters, such as Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, you can experience one of these, and I can personally say that it is an incredible element that really adds a lot to a roller coaster. So on top of that, you have 2 other inversions, tight turns, crazy, all kinds of stuff. It's looking pretty intense, but it's also going to be one of the smoothest rides you've ever been on, because the single rail track is going to provide that smooth ride. So a lot of people are really uptight and just worried about ROCKVILLE in general, and I think that's a very valid concern. A lot of people are worried that it's going to turn into Gotham City, that some other classic rides are going to be removed, that Rockville High School might be removed. All we know is that this stuff is at least going to return for 2018. So even though this is called Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, it's still going to be Rockville. And it looks like this thing is going to fit almost directly where Power Surge was. That's how compact this layout is. It's looking really cool. The color scheme is really awesome. I like the punchy yellow and the red supports. And, you know, I think it's going to be a really nice addition to the wall landscape back there in Rockville. One of the other major concerns of this ride is the capacity. A lot of people are thinking, okay, you have 8 people to a train, and you have 3 trains, so 24 people, you know, within a 3-train cycle is all that's going to get to ride this. Now, I'm not sure how accurate this number is, but I did do some research and kind of went around the internet, and people are saying that the capacity of this ride is probably going to be around 600 people an hour. That's not a lot for a roller coaster. Roller coasters such as Superman Krypton Coaster at Fiesta Texas, Titan at Six Flags Over Texas are pushing over 1,500 riders an hour when they are running at their full train and efficient capacity, whatever you want to call it. When they're running the most efficient and using the most trains, that's how many people they're punching through in an hour. So I'm slightly concerned about that, but I guess we'll see what they have in store. I'm not sure Six Flags is super concerned about it. I think that, you know, they're wanting to build a brand new ride that's never been built before, and it's compact. It's going to be a cheaper construction because less track means less support, etc., etc. It all kind of goes hand in hand. So that brings me to our next topic. Why did Six Flags Fiesta Texas announce this so early? It could be a few things. Number one is that they wanted to be like, hey, this is a brand new thing that we're building. It's never been built before. It's a new concept. We don't want this announcement to get jumbled in with the announcements for the other parks. Because let's be honest here, the other parks are probably getting the same few rides that have been rotating around every year. You know, we're installing a Fireball, we're installing a 4D Fly Coaster, we're installing a Sky Screamer. Most parks are probably going to get something in that realm of what we've seen before. So I think Six Flags really wanted this to be a surprise. They wanted it to stand out, and they wanted to make the announcement early. Other thing I've heard that could potentially be happening is that there is another theme park company potentially building one of these roller coasters. I think Six Flags wanted to get their announcement out ahead of time so that the hype of building the world's first could be protected by Six Flags. Now, if you watched the press conference, you saw that the park president said this will be opening in spring of 2018. I don't know if that means spring as in like March, April, or spring as in, May to June when we normally open our new rides. I think once we have an opening day for it, we'll kind of know why they made that announcement so early and why there was such an urgency in that announcement. Another thing that was talked about in the press release was the theming. It sounds like they really want to try to do something with the theming here, and they want to kind of theme it around Wonder Woman, the movie that just came out. So they're talking about jungle foliage and Greek types of monuments around. They also talked about crashed plane, which I don't want to spoil the movie if nobody's seen it because it's an amazing movie. And as we saw in the video rendering, the early rendering, it looks like they're going to try to keep the water under it. So it definitely looks like a different shape than what is there for Power Surge. I'm not sure if they're really going to sit there and reshape that thing once they take Power Surge out. I guess we'll find out. It seems kind of like a really expensive project, but then again, they might just go for it. I guess we'll find out. Now, if you guys haven't seen the video teasing the new ride, I'm going to drop that in right now just so you can kind of see the elements and the footprint and all of that. So enjoy. Alright guys, it looks pretty cool, right? I think it looks pretty cool. As I said, I'm a little worried about the throughput, but the ride itself I'm very excited about. I think it's going to be a great addition to the park. I'm really excited for Fiesta Texas. They're really working on this, hey, we're going to do the first of its kind type of deal. So they got a 4D fly coaster first, they got America's first Rocket Blast water coaster, now they're getting the first RMC Raptor coaster in the world. So really exciting stuff for Fiesta Texas. It's kind of turned into the park that says, hey, we're going to test a bunch of stuff. If you go to the description below, you can follow a link to our Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster page on our main website. That'll kind of lay out all the details I just told you, show you some renderings that I just kind of threw in randomly in this video, and just give you a little more information on the ride. I also encourage you guys to check out the rest of the rides pages. We've redesigned everything. It looks a lot better on mobile, and it also looks a lot better on desktop. There's a little more info, it's a little more organized, and I think that there are main points of information that people look for on rides that I've really tried to separate and make very obvious on these pages, so you can jump to the page, find that info, and be on with your day. We do plan on doing some other updates to the website, especially food pages, live shows pages, those types of things, just to make it a little more accessible and organized for everybody if they're looking for some specific information. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. We're up to about 160 followers. That's really fun. Make sure you follow us on social media. That's how you can keep track of what we're working on, new things that are happening in the park, and there's also a link to our main website. I encourage you to check that out if you want to know anything about Fiesta Texas. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this new ride or any other Fiesta Texas questions you may have. Thanks for watching.